Hello, I'm Mathieu from Ludvox, and today I am with a very special guest who will tell us his name.
I'm Shem Phillips from Garfield Games, New Zealand.
So you're the designer of Raiders of the North Sea and the other games of the North Sea.
Yes, lots of North Sea.
So we're here with two expansions of the game, which are just out, if I'm not mistaken. Hall of Heroes and Fields of Glory, right?
Yeah, so the English translation is Hall of Heroes, Fields of Fame. Yeah. We were playing with the alliteration on those titles. The games are just finished manufacture, so they should be hitting stores in December.
So what are those expansions about? I think we'll start with the Hall of Heroes, right?
Sure, so Hall of Heroes focuses more on the resourcey side of Raiders. Some of the comments that we got made were that it's quite hard to get iron in the game. So what this does, it adds in this new board which sits at the bottom of the Raiders board. The first part, it adds an area where crew can be seen face up. So you can come to the tavern and you can pick up a card that you like for your hand. You'll also get mead as you do it. And mead is like a armor that you can spend, liquid courage. So before you roll your dice in a raid, you can spend the mead to get more strength. That's the first part that it adds. The other part that it brings in are these quests and reputation. So there'll always be 4 reputation, different ones, these ones here. So the quests are these ones here. So there's 3 different types of quests. So you've got like thievery, and then you've got escort, and then assassination. Any time that a area gets raided, so all the items come off, a random one will be revealed and placed on top of that space. Now a player can go to the tavern, and from their hand they can discard a certain amount of strength for that quest, like sending your adventurers on quests. So I could discard, say, 6 strength total, achieve this. This would actually go at the top of my board, and the more you do, the more points you'll get at the end of the game. I'll also gain the goods that it shows on it, so I'll gain 1 livestock. These ones you can get provisions and gold and iron and all sorts. So you can go after these just to get the resources you need for your offerings or for your armor. So there's a lot more options to get things. You can even almost avoid raiding completely if you don't like you take the piece away. And there's also another little set collecting mechanic. So once you get 3 of a certain type, you can gain 1 of these reputation tiles. These will help to sort of buffer your score track, but they'll also give you an immediate action, so gain 2 armor or pick up 1 of these cards or various other things like that. So that one's quite simple. That's Hall of Heroes.
Does the game gain in length? Is it a bit a bit longer?
Slightly, not overly long, maybe 10 minutes or so extra to the game.
We have a lot of boards. Does it improve the player count?
Yeah, so each expansion adds 1 more player. But the games, each one comes with 6 player support. So there's 6 player boards in this, because if you have this, then you can play 6 player. So same with all the Jarl boards in this one here as well.
So let's move to the Fields of Fame and not Glory.
So Fields of Fame, the other comment that got made was that there's no risk in raiding. Some people wanted to feel like they could fail, or that they could have a bit of insecurity or whatever raiding. So I added in, one thing was the Valkyrie Dice. So rather than the red dice we have, you now roll these, and there's a 1 in 6 chance that you will get an extra Valkyrie in your raid. So it's unlikely, but it can happen. There you go. So when that happens, it's just as if there was another Valkyrie there. The other thing that adds is a new resource into the plunder pool. So as you place your usual gold and iron and such, there could also be these Jarl tokens. So when you pick up a Jarl token, it happens before the Valkyrie, you will get 1 of these Jarls as like an encounter. So you basically flip it over, and you have 3 options. You can either kill them for the glory, or you can subdue them and actually get them into your crew, or you can run away, which is never good. If you decide to kill them, you have to take wounds to your crew equal to the strength plus 1, so 6 wounds. And when you wound your crew, you place these wound tokens on them. And what the wounds do is basically reduce their strength. So he can take up to 4 hits. If he takes 4 wounds, he's now worth 0. There are some ways you can remove wounds. But generally the best way is just to kill them off, for Valkyrie. And there's going to be various new cards, actions that relate to wounds and different Jarl effects.
Like berserkers who gain strength with wounds, maybe?
Yeah, all that sort of stuff. There's new heroes and all sorts. You'll also, if you decide to kill them, you get a little bonus ability as well straight away. And you'll also gain two fame. So if you kill them, you get 2 fame. If you decide to subdue them, you'd actually take 1 less wound than their strength, so in this case 4. And you'd also pay the silver cost on them, and they will join your crew. So you actually end up gaining a strength because you lose 1 less, but you gain the same amount. If they are still alive in your crew, they will give you a bonus scoring at the end of the game for certain things. So there's a whole range of Jarls, and they're all 5 or 6 strength and cost 3 or 4 silver to subdue and hire. So lots of fun things. It just adds, I always found it adds more flavour and more that kind of like that role play and excitement of, like that the more American style games bring.
Maybe more memorable encounters, like you say, oh no, it's that guy again.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. And they have the last thing that it adds, obviously it adds 3 new raiding spaces. The township is kind of halfway between a harbour and a outpost. So there is military strength, but there's no dice. So you know what you're doing when you go in. And the last thing that it adds is sometimes in the base game, if you're really strong, you kind of overkill, you get nothing out of it. Now, if you go above the strength, you'll also get fame. So if I had 12 strength, I get 4 points. If I went in here with 18 strength, I got 6 additional, I would qualify for 1 fame. And fame is going to give you more victory points at the end of the game, much like the Valkyrie or the armor tracks.
Okay, well, that seems interesting. So did you do these additions just after the game was released? Did you think of them at the moment the game was released and when you started to receive feedback? Or is it something you had ideas for before and that you decided to add because of that feedback?
I actually don't naturally like to design expansions, so I usually just like a game to be as it is. From memory, I started working on Holy Heroes after Explorers came out, mainly because I wanted to add a 5th player, because people were like, I've got 5 people, I want to play 5. So I had this mechanism of spending your cards for items quite early on. Originally it was going to be a sort of you're setting up mercenaries to help the Saxons or the Byzantines or whatever. And then I stumbled upon the kind of quest idea. And I think when this game was pretty much done, I had 6 months till the Kickstarter. So I was like, why not try make another expansion? Yeah. So that's where Fields of Fame came from. Okay. Yeah.
That's explained basically everything. Will you do expansions for Shipwrights and Explorers?
I don't have plans to. Explorers already has 1 expansion coming out. That was on Kickstarter in around August, I think it was July. Shipwrights has a small expansion, but I think I'll just move on to the Frankish Kingdom, I think. So.
With Architects of the West Kingdom?
Yes, yeah, move on to that one. Yep.
Well, thank you, Shem, for that overview of these expansions, and we'll see you on Ludovox, right?
Yes.
Bye-bye.